Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of Scholars Spotlight. We've got our man with us today, Jamie Bunch, who's head of our youth development program. So thanks for joining us. How are you?
Good afternoon, Reuben. How are you? I'm well. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm really good. I think we were just discussing what day it is. So just to make it clear, we didn't really know what day it is, but I do believe it is Wednesday, the 1st of May at 12 minutes past 1. So that's where we're at.
Wow. The end of the season is nigh.
End of the season, and that's kind of where we're going to start. So let's get straight into it. Year 2 of the youth development program. What's left?
What's left? Year 2, yeah, it's been an eventful 24 months, and I'm going to say 24 months because we've literally rolled for 24 months without stopping, Reuben. I think I've been on here before. We did this interview, probably 6 months ago, didn't we, about sort of the start of year 1 on the back of the FA Youth Cup run, 18s going well, etc. And yeah, we've got 3 weeks left of the season. Realistically now, we because of the weather, there's been a bit of an extension as most leagues are, bar the first team leagues, where obviously they're on a tighter deadline. But we've got a real big, probably 2 weeks in youth development program. So the 18s have a real chance of winning the Floodlit League. So we go to Brockton next Wednesday, and it'll be a tough game at Brockton. But we know that the league is in our own hands now. So if the 18s can go to Brockton and get a result there, we then go to Wolverhampton Cazzies the week after, and then both away games, and we know that if we get 6 points, the league's ours. So that's brilliant. The reserves have already won the league, as you've already put out on the channels, and well done to Craig Liss and all the guys there who've done fantastic. So yeah, absolute credit to the 23/Resi development. We all have a different name for that team, but they've got a cup competition that they're in, and they have got some semi-finals coming up a week. We think it's going to be a week on Saturday on the 18th, but watch out on the channels because obviously now first team games are finished. I'm sure the fans will want to come down, and that could be at home as well. So watch out for that. That team are in the semi-finals of their cup competition. And then on the 11th, we've got the 16s going into their cup final as well. They've got into a League Cup final. So the under 16. So yeah, so it's going to be a big couple of weeks. And that was on the back of last Saturday. Our youngest team in the pathway, the under 12s, as we put out on channels, won their cup as well, beating Alf Church. And yeah, they've done us really proud as well. So yeah, it's an eventful time, shall we say, Reuben?
No. Sounds fantastic. And we know, as well as those celebrations as well, there'll be decisions about players and there'll be movement about that, which we'll talk about in a bit. So let's leap on to 24-25 season, which I know you've already started preparing for. That's year 3 of the youth development program. What are the aspirations for that season?
Yeah, so we will hopefully full the pathway. So at this moment, we're 3/4 away full with our teams. 12's been the youngest. Obviously, the 12's become 13, so we'll have a new intake of under 12s. And that'll take us through to the 23s, and we want to complete that. So that will be the one aspirational that will complete our full pathway. And the other one, I think, and the big one for me at the top end is how do we close the gap? And we know, Reuben, that it takes 2 or 3 years at least to establish a program. Our baseline was 0, and that's no disrespect. We spoke about that before on this. At Chasetown, we have a wonderful participation grassroots program, but we've never had an elite youth development pathway. We've had the odd team, but never a pathway. So I had 2 or 3 hours with myself and Swanee, and we're really working hard about how do we close the gap and give the opportunity. Obviously, he's got his own aspirations at first team level, which obviously is the club's flagship team, and absolutely. But how can we supplement that now with the investment that we're making in with those players who are now coming through? And what we do know at the club, Reuben, is that we have a group of 17 to 19-year-olds, particularly, that have got a great future. If they, with a bit of luck and they keep on the right track and, avoid the things that they should and participate in the things, avoid the things they shouldn't, I should say, and participate in the things they should, then we know there's a few boys there who've got half a decent chance. So we're spending a lot of time on closing the gap. And that's where, our planning is literally afoot already. We've been doing that for probably 6-8 weeks, and it's really now accelerating. Now we know where the first team are, where the resis are, and what the 18s next season looks like, with the new 16s coming in as well.
No, that sounds fantastic. So, message to the 17s and 18s: get your head down, don't steal any cars. That's it, right? So, okay, trials and recruitment. Talk us through that. I'm sure we'll have parents watching this and people in the local area who maybe know of somebody that might want to get involved in that. What's the process?
Okay, so we have announced trials and we're live at the moment. So we're starting new teams at 12s, 14s and 15s. So that is literally cold trials, open trials. And we're obviously after players. And the sort of two types of players that we're after really, Reuben, is we need those players to be either of pro club standard, have just maybe come out of a pro club or been in the pro club, the academy system, and have come out or are coming out. So we're really keen to see those. Or those guys who are top-end grassroots players who are playing either at a very good level of grassroots or have got the ability to play at the top end of grassroots. And we'd welcome them. So we've got it out. So go to the Twitter and the Facebook and all the club's media channels. Go to the youth development program specifically, and you can register for those teams. And then the teams that are already existing, Reuben, we have a sort of quite a disciplined policy to that, where we have to obviously maintain a standard, and we want to retain as many of those boys as possible and be as loyal as possible, which we will be. But we also have the difficult decision that, some boys just by nature either probably fall out of love with it or not quite keeping up with it, etc. And we have to have those difficult conversations. And like every year, we do have to have those conversations. So we are open to boys coming into the other ages, but that is sort of more on an individual invitation basis. So let us know, send in an email to us, contact us through the normal channels of the website and the social media. And we'd be interested to hear, especially boys who are coming out of the pro game or are accelerating at a top-end grassroots non-league environment.
No, that's great. I think that's really clear what you're looking to do there and how people can get in touch. Let's talk about, we always talk about on the field, right, and how important it is. But I think just as important is what helps the team and complements everybody in the management structure off the team. So off the field even. So let's talk about those off-field roles. Is there anything that you're looking to recruit for there, or any opportunities there of how people can get involved with you and your team and what you're doing with YDP?
Yeah, very much so, Reuben. And it's probably for all we're doing on the grass, we can't operate. And we've always said the youth development program is about development of football, development of players. It's a player development-led program. So the emphasis will always be on the grass. However, what we need behind it, and next year, under 12s to under 23s, best part of 120 players, probably best part of 20 odd coaching staff and some support staff around that. We need other people to come in and help us. So things like welfare officers, we need fixtures secretaries, we need club secretaries, we need finance people, we need marketing and comms people. So if you have a bit of spare time and you are willing to come in and help a club that is a real welcoming, friendly, progressive local community club, you may be a student, you may be semi-retired, you may be just looking to have an interest in something. We'd love to hear from anybody who thinks they've got a skill set that they can add. The way I describe it, Reuben, is we have a volunteer base. The more we have, the less they have to do, then the more enjoyable it becomes. And I think what we do know is, to be sustainable, we can't go with the few, and we've got to get people involved. And the game at this level, Reuben, we spoke about it before, relies on volunteers across the board. We have some brilliant ones at Chasetown Football Club, as do all the non-league football clubs. It's run by the art of volunteers at the core. And if you're keen, if you're interested, if you want to be part of a progressive football development environment, please get in touch with us. We'd really welcome to hear from you. Be a student. a student or a older person who's got a bit of spare time on their hands.
Yeah, and I would second that. I mean, I've only been around the club for 2 or 3 years, and just how you get to know everybody, the community spirit, and whenever you pop down, and I've got to, I've nicked somebody's boots or I've got to take something back to the club, I'm always amazed at how many volunteers are down there every day and the things that are going on. So it's a real special community. So I would second that. Anybody that is interested in any element of what we've just discussed, they can get in touch on the social channels, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Specifically, and probably what I would add is we are on a bit of recruitment drive on the coaching front as well. So we would welcome. There's a couple of particular areas. Any potential players that are coming to the end of their career. I do a lot in a professional capacity with the PFA and the FA and lads who are on an aspirational coaching journey. So if there are lads out there who are at their sort of twilight years of their career, their playing career, then I'd love to hear from them if they think there's an environment that they would welcome to come be part of. We've had Jordan Cranston this year, who's an Hereford player. Jordan's just on his A license and comes in ad hoc on a Monday night and comes and works with the 16th and the 18th. Jordan's been a brilliant example. I think he's found it beneficial to the start of his coaching career. Likewise, we'd be open to that on a few others. And also, any guys around sports science as well. So things like analysis, fitness, strength and conditioning, sports therapy, we can give placement opportunities as well. So we've got a good relationship with Wolves Uni, but any of the other colleges and universities that would like to get in touch with us, we've got a local fan, Reuben, Connie. She's been brilliant, as we have got 2 or 3 from Wolves Uni, but Connie's doing exercise and sports science at BCU, local Chasetown girl, fan, but she's starting to do some analysis work. So again, it's a win-win for us. We get a great volunteer, a young person who's aspirational in terms of career in sport, but also she gets an opportunity to come around and be part of a progressive community club that hopefully gives her some support in her direction as well.
No, that's great. And I think we've got evidence, haven't we? We've got a use case of one of our analysis volunteers went on to a Premiership club, right?
Yeah. So David is down at West Ham at the moment. So yeah, he does a year with us. Again, the guy's over at the Broadway at Wolverhampton Uni at the Walsall campus, first year, and he has a year with us. And he keeps in touch with us. He comes back every blue moon, does a little bit for us from remote locations. But yeah, absolutely. That for me it's not just about progressing young players. It's giving people opportunities for all different reasons.
No, that's fantastic. And we're coming to a close now. So is there any partners that you want to talk about? Obviously, we've talked about Wolves Uni there, but are there any other partners that you wanted to kind of name check and talk about the value that they bring?
Yeah, I think what I'd do is recognise. We've got a couple of key sponsors in terms of Crown Highways, as we know, through our chairman Steve Jones and Andy Bond. With obviously Morgan and Bond. They've been great supporters of youth development, as has the club and the supporters club themselves as well. MDL obviously are behind the club with Dave and his team. But then we've also had several team sponsors throughout, so I'd like to acknowledge their support, because actually things like the tracksuit and the training kits, it's 500, 1,000, £1,500, and we've got a range of those. And what I would say is we've got further opportunities for local companies, and £1,000, £1,500, etc. It all comes into a non-for-profit type organisation. The club is as a whole club, not just YDP. YDP falls under the parent club, but we're a non-for-profit. The more partners we can get on board, Reuben, the less expense into parents' pockets, and we know what the economic climate is. We have to charge subs. We have to pay subs. We have costs. We have some of the best facilities. Right, we go on all the 3Gs, etc. It doesn't come free. It doesn't come cheap. There is an expense to running the program. We're volunteer based, 99% of us. So what I would say is, any partners out there who do want to, consider coming on board, supporting, being associated with a progressive non-league club, be it first team or any level of the club, I'm sure our chairman and his team on the board would welcome conversations to support the sustainability of a club that wants to be progressive, but also wants to be part of the community.
No, absolutely. I was talking to one of our supporters recently, Leicester's who got on board at the beginning of the year, and their marketing team were talking about what a brilliant opportunity it's been to push not only their services, but be involved in actual real community projects. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity for local brands. Butchie, Jamie, been brilliant talking to you and getting an understanding of that. I think the last thing to kind of close off, anybody wants to get in touch about anything, we're very responsive on the social channels. Big day, Tuesday, the 7th of May. Obviously, the first team, we're in a final. We're going to Bescott. There's still opportunities to get on the coach there. I believe Kay and the team are our headquarters, are opening up the club at 3 p.m. on that same day. And we're going to have a bit of a jolly up. So everybody is welcome. It'd be great to see you. And hopefully we can have a happy end to the season on the first team front. But amazing what you and the team are doing with YDP. Anything that any of us can do to support you, please let us know, and keep up the good work.
No, thanks to you, Reuben, and just thanks to everybody at the club, because you know, it has been a big year, hasn't it? I think we forget where we've come from. We're still early days into the new stadium, the new development. The club is in its new era. So yeah, thank you to you. Thank you to all the parents, the sponsors, the volunteers at the club that back us, not just in YDP, but across the piece. And yeah, we look forward to going to Bescott. The YDP will all be there. All the time players will be there supporting. So let's go and have an enjoyable evening, and good luck to Swanee and the first team.
Yeah, brilliant. Up the Scholars. All right. Thanks, Jamie.